Michigan was 0 for 10 on third down Saturday against Wisconsin. That's the first time in 15 years UM failed to convert at least one third down. Here's what Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh said about Saturday.
Really from A to Z, wasn't good enough. We didn't play physical enough. We were out hustled. I take responsibility for that. In any ways that we were out schemed, also take responsibility. It's my job to make sure that we're completely sound. That was a bad day. That was not a banner day for Michigan. We saw it. You saw it. The entire football world saw it. That wasn't good enough, and it's not acceptable. Not acceptable to us, and not much more to say about that.
Not much more to say. It's unacceptable, says Coach Harbaugh. David, what would you say is the state of Michigan football right now?
Well, obviously after this weekend, it's not good. And it's especially offensively, we continue to say the same thing. Joey, I feel like we're on repeat, we're on loop for the last several years. I think some context for this debate before we get into Harbaugh and all of his stuff. The 7 years before Harbaugh, with the Hoke and Rodriguez era, they averaged 6 wins a year. The 4 seasons with Harbaugh, they're right at 10. So they are much better than they were in the past. There's no doubt about it. But right now, what you're seeing with Wisconsin curb stomps you and makes you look absolutely anemic offensively and makes you look like a bad football team. If this continues for the rest of the season, it's 100% a huge problem. Joey, I'll phrase it like this, though. Joey, what happens to all those Michigan fans and all those people out here if Michigan beats Michigan State and beats Ohio State and runs the table? Everybody's happy. Everybody's great. So it's alarming what you saw, but I don't think it's time to punt on the season yet and say, God, these guys suck and Jim Harbaugh should be fired.
Yeah, you're correct. It's alarming, but it's not trending in the right direction either. You bring in Josh Gaddis to run your offense. Things were supposed to be different. Urban Meyer steps down at Ohio State. Things are supposed to be different for Michigan. I don't know how that translates, but things were supposed to be different for Michigan because Urban Meyer was gone. It's supposed to be their year to win the Big Ten. The real problem is when you watch this game, there's just not a fix for when you get run over by a team, and that's not supposed to happen to Michigan. It's not about winning and losing so much in this Wisconsin game. It's the way it happened. And so, David, and in football, when you are physically smacked in the mouth by a team the way this game looked, you can't go back to the drawing board and say, hey, we're going to be tougher. Like, you can't fix toughness during a season. And so that's why it feels so bad. Now, you're right. If they run the table, they beat Michigan State, they beat Ohio State, which nobody thinks they can do that right now after this weekend, things will be all better. But right now, the way that team looked on Saturday, getting physically run over the way they did, it just doesn't look good. No. Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.